Welcome back to the vlog. It is not actually Thanksgiving, but the day before. And I have pulled up to Kroger. It is 7:06 in the morning and we are on a mission just to get a small handful of things. The parking lot is looking thin and trim, which is my favorite. It's actually still pretty dark out here. I don't know when the sun is supposed to rise today, but I am trying to be in and out of here before the rest of civilization wakes up and decides to participate. But if I don't find what I need here, I know for sure that I will pass a Publix on my way home. And I want to say that's where I ended up getting my collards last year because the ones at Kroger were just like not looking great. Somebody let me know, are y'all tired of seeing me in the grocery store? Because I feel like I'm always in this thing. Either going in or picking up, child. Place item. Come to Publix where shopping is a pleasure, but for real, it's only going to be a pleasure to shop here if y'all have what I need. First of all, why are Noah wafers on the bottom shelf? They belong like up here somewhere. Y'all, not Publix being out of ginger snaps. We only eat Nabisco ginger snaps around here, and they are fresh out because they would have been right here. All right now. So that did not work out as planned, okay? First of all, they did not have any bunches of collards. I had to buy collards in a bag, which I have never done before, so I don't even know how much collards I actually got because I ended up getting 3 bags. They were on sale 2 for $5, but I typically will buy like, I think I bought 2 bunches every year. But anyway, I could not figure out like what is the equivalent to 2 bunches when you do it in bags. So I got 3 bags of those. They did not have a chicken. So we're going to a third store, which I would like to take this time and acknowledge my privilege, which in this very instance is the fact that I live so close to like a plethora of grocery stores that I can actually keep driving around looking for what I need. So I'm very thankful for that. And also, I'm just gonna take this in stride. You know what I mean? I was just at the grocery store a few days ago and I saw the chicken that I wanted and I didn't get it because I didn't want to have to freeze it because there was just like too many days between when it needed to be pulled out and prepped. I would have had to freeze it. So this one is on me. I will take this L. I will also take this L with the collard greens, or maybe like half a L, because I feel like last year or the year before, I went the day before Thanksgiving and I didn't have any issues finding collards. They seem to be kind of scarce this year. I know you lying. I know you lying. All right, after 4 stores, what did I actually get? Let's do a lightning round of a grocery haul. Graham crackers, cream cheese, cinnamon, lemons, sparkling drink, marshmallows, buttermilk, sour cream, onions, ham hocks, backup cheese. These are the collards that I got. I also found a bird. This is a tip-top fresh hen, and I was asking the man in like the butcher section, what is the difference between a tip-top fresh hen and a young chicken? And basically he said it's the age of the bird. And I was asking because this is 6.44 pounds and they had a young chicken that was 5.3-ish pounds. And I was like, they're basically the same weight. So like, what's going on here? And he said, this one is gonna have meat that's a little bit tougher. So it's gonna eat more like turkey than a young chicken. And he recommended that I brined it, but I've got different plans for this bird. Last but not least, I had to stop and get myself something to eat for breakfast because there is no way after all that running around that I was coming back in here to cook myself something. So I picked up some of their kale and mushroom egg bites to have. And then I also got myself some of their oatmeal. And I think that should do, at least to get me by the next few hours. I am going to take a little bit of a siesta and, I don't know, do something else because I just don't feel like cooking right now.
One eternity later.
First, I will bring your attention to all of the things that I believe I will need in order to make Thanksgiving happen. I have found over the years that it's just helpful to have my most used items sitting here on the countertop at the ready in case I need them. That prevents me from having to move my cutting board around and go digging in the cabinets. I also pull out some kitchen towels because messes are bound to happen, and when they do, I want to be ready. Again, I don't want to be digging through my cabinets looking for towels when I need them right then. If I do need more things, I will go digging for them, but this is the stuff that I know 100,000% that I'm going to be reaching for. And let's not forget some all-star players here. Macaroni and cheese will be getting made in this pot right here. Collards will be happening in this pot right here. And this is my beloved recipe book, okay? I've been making Thanksgiving for so many years, but I tell you one thing, Thanksgiving is not happening without me consulting this book because I just don't want no smoke. I don't want to have no questions about what is in what. I want to know, and the answers are in here. First up are the ham hocks. I need to go ahead and get them in this pot and get them going because they are going to take quite a while. And I picked up a 2-pack. I'm going to use one for the collards and then keep the second one for some black eyed peas towards New Year's. While that is going, I'm actually going to switch eyes because this needs to like hang out for quite some time before it's ready. So I'm going to move that over there and then start on my macaroni. I'm just going to make an 8x8 pan, which I just need half this bag for that. And pour the rest. Now, there's this technique that I learned from Ethan Chabowski over here on YouTube where he says that there's like literally no need to boil water first and then add your pasta. You can actually add your pasta in your pot first and then fill it up so that the water is just about, I don't know, maybe like an inch or two above your pasta. And then bring that temperature up to 180, and then after it gets to 180, you just follow the package instructions on how long it tells you to cook your pasta for. And specifically for me, having a electric stove, I find that it works extremely well, and I'm not sitting here waiting forever for a pot of water to get to a boil. And I'm gonna salt it a little bit, not a lot, because remember, it's not as much water in here as normal. So just a couple of little dashes in there. In the meantime, I am gonna go ahead and wash these greens because I fully understand that they came in a bag, and the bag very likely says ready to eat on them, but it's a no for me, dog. I am going to fill my sink with cold water and add a little bit of vinegar in there. And I'm gonna wash these greens like how I would wash regular produce. And also, like, these are pre-cut greens, and do you see, like, they have the rib in there? Now, there is a part of me that wants to go through this bag of greens and pick out every single rib that I see, but then the other side of me is thinking that that is just literally me being extra, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. Instead, I'm just gonna dump the bags in here, clean them, and then cook them to death because I just don't want the hard little stem. I probably could have got away with 2 bags, but collards are notorious for cooking down to absolutely nothing. I know I said I was not gonna go through here and de-rib these, but I'm seeing stuff like this. Like, are you for real? This is huge. So I'm gonna spend a little bit of time and go through these greens to the best of my ability because I don't have time for stuff like this. But before I do that, I'm gonna go ahead and shred some cheese. We've got sharp and medium cheese, and for an 8x8, I only need 16 to 20 ounces, which 2 of these is 16 ounces, so I'm just gonna shred both of them. Or not shred, I'm gonna grate them because I don't have a food processor with a little cutting attachment. Ordinarily, I would have shredded this cheese yesterday, but I was playing because I definitely had 2 blocks in the fridge. I let them go for like an additional 3 to 4 minutes. Not cooking them all the way through because I'm going to do baked macaroni and cheese, so it's going to get some more time in the oven. But these are ready to go. And while the nudes are still hot, I need to add some butter. Now, I like to stir mine and let the butter melt first because after I add in the milk, the butter just becomes infinitely harder to melt. I know some people will like warm their milk, but I don't do that. I just do the butter first and then add everything else afterwards. Now I'm going to add all my cheese. Well, almost all of it anyway. Maybe that much, and then save the rest for the top. I'm gonna add some paprika to this thing and some black pepper. And I just do it by what it looks like. If I see enough little black dots in there, that's how I know it's enough pepper. Because I'm gonna mix it up, and if I can't see none, then I need more. I'm gonna go a little bit easy on the salt because cheese is salty. This thing was not recording though. So I did add some more seasoning salt, and I just added some paprika and stirred it around. And I'm going back to add some black pepper because I'm not quite seeing it show up like how I want to see it. There are not enough black dots on my pasta. And then this is gonna be it. I'm gonna transfer this to another pan. Top it with this extra cheese, cover it, and this will be ready to get baked tomorrow. Actually, before I get started on these greens, I'm gonna go ahead and peel some sweet potatoes for a, oh my gosh, what is the thing called? Sweet potato casserole. My first time making sweet potato casserole was actually last year, and it went over quite well. So I'm gonna do it again, and I suppose that's gonna like stand in for sweet potato pie because I'm not making sweet potato pie this Thanksgiving. I settled on another dessert. So I'm gonna get these cubed up and then dropped into a pot and let those be going while I'm sorting out this green situation. While I'm on the subject of greens, okay, because I feel like I glazed over that. Do any of y'all prefer to use bagged greens? Now, there were some times as a child where my parents would get like the frozen greens, but I don't recall an issue with the greens being frozen where the rib parts were in there and they were tough to eat. So this may be all made up in my mind why I feel like I need to go in there and take all the ribs off of the greens, but I'm paranoid. Like, I don't want to go through the work of making collards for them to end up tough. That is not what I'm trying to do at all. My power just flickered. Come on here. What is going on? I think the plan of attack for these greens is just, girl, let's see. Okay, no. I'm going to put the leaves in this and then the ribs over in that side of the sink. And I mean, this should go by fairly quickly because some of them don't have ribs at all. And this also gives me an opportunity to look over the greens and make sure that like they're not gross, you know? You can never be too careful with leafy vegetables. So yeah, I'm gonna turn on some music to get through this, and I'll be right back with you. Yo, I just had the deepest belly laugh. I have so much to say. Like, what is this even? I am looking at tree branches, tree stumps, 2x4s. Why was this in the bag? You know, I thought that I was losing it. Like, Janetta, why would you go through this perfectly good bag of greens to do this? This is why. Like, are you joking? I do not want to eat this. And there's no way that this is cooking down. Like, is it even going to focus? Okay, right here. There is no way that this is cooking down to be tender. Like, this is a broccoli stem. I am so unbelievably glad that I did this because I would have been 38 hot if these were in my greens. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? And if you're curious, I will link the recipe that I'm using for this sweet potato casserole. I think I called it souffle earlier, and I'm gonna keep it 100. I don't know the difference between a sweet potato casserole and a sweet potato souffle. To me, I feel like they are the same thing, but I don't want to offend anybody by getting the name wrong. So this is particularly a sweet potato casserole. And again, I'm just going to link the recipe that I'm following down below in the description box in case you would like it. And I think last year I just used cinnamon, but because I have pumpkin pie spice, I'm going to go ahead and use it in here. I'm going to start with half a teaspoon, but I'm going to taste this as I go just to make sure it tastes good. All right, I've got all that stuff incorporated, but I'm gonna add some more seasoning. Maybe that's like a heaping teaspoon. And then I'm also going to add in a little bit more brown sugar just because I don't think there's enough in there. Yeah, it needs more, oh my gosh. I'm just gonna go for the gusto. I'm gonna do 2 because I still have to add milk to this, and milk is going to take down some of the sweetness anyway. The recipe called for a certain weight of sweet potatoes, and I definitely did not check that before I started. So let's just add another tablespoon of butter. Why not? There is a streusel topping that goes with this. Currently undecided on whether or not I'm going to make that tonight or make that tomorrow. So for now, I'm just going to pop this in the fridge. Ooh, I like that color. The color is definitely looking right to me, so I'm going to go ahead and add some of this Better Than Bouillon roasted chicken base. And I'm probably going to start with a tablespoon. Oh my gosh, at this point, I'm just gonna... Okay, while that is all getting so exciting, I am going to try and pick the meat off of this bone without burning myself, which is a challenge every single year. But I have faith in my own self. A little more. That seems like a good base. I'm gonna go ahead and add in my collards, but first I need to drop this meat back in here. What I'm going to do is spatchcock my bird, which, if you are not familiar, that basically means I'm going to take the neck bone out of the bird, like snip, snip, snip on both sides, and I'm gonna open it and press the breast down so that it cooks evenly. I'm trying to salt my bird tonight so that it'll be ready to go for me tomorrow. These are the new scissors that I got. What a joke. These are not meant for poultry. Okay, here are the other ones. They're not really any better. Dear Santa, I'll take some new poultry scissors, please. Because these ones have cut through too many birds now, and they don't want to cut no more. Now, one thing that I am noticing with this bird is that the skin up here feels a little bit more tough than a regular chicken, which, I mean, could be because this is a hen and not a traditional young chicken. I don't know, that could also just be completely made up in my mind. But what I'm gonna do now is pat dry the inside, and then I'm gonna salt it. Now, to be completely frank, I just mixed a bunch of random seasonings in this container and that is what I'm gonna season my bird with. But the most important part is the fact that I'm gonna allow this to sit in the fridge overnight, and it won't hit the oven until tomorrow afternoon. I don't know why this bird is so ugly. Like, Publix, do better, baby. So this is the little seasoning blend that I came up with. What is in here? There is salt, baking powder, celery seed, paprika, pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder in here. And I'm just going to thoroughly salt my boy here. Ready for the fridge. The only thing left for me to do for day one is to throw a little bleach around the kitchen and wash these collards until I get tired of washing them. They look really good, but I just know they haven't been on here long enough, so I'm just gonna let them go until I get tired, and then I can always bring them back up to 10 and let them go some more tomorrow. So I'm gonna leave you guys here, and I will see y'all on Thanksgiving Day. When you've been washing as you go and started the day with an empty dishwasher, and all you have to do is start that bad boy. I absolutely love this. Good morning, happy Thanksgiving. I'm already 1 Celsius down, and I need to get started before the effects of that start to wear off. I'm running a little bit behind. Well, not really, because based on the schedule that I set for myself, I'm still ahead. I just would have preferred to do some of this a little bit earlier. This is the schedule that I made, so as long as everything works like how it's supposed to work, everything will be done by 4 o'clock today. So as far as making things, I need to make the streusel topping for the sweet potato casserole. So when that's ready to go in the oven, I can add that on top. And then I also need to make the dessert. So that's what I'm gonna do now. We are gonna make miniature pumpkin cheesecakes. No, it's called something else. It's salted caramel pumpkin cheesecakes. And I'm gonna make them individual size because, you know, again, we're traveling tomorrow, so I'm gonna be able to pop out several of them and stick them in the freezer to enjoy later, and also have some to enjoy today. What else? I can't really think of anything else. I feel good about everything that I made yesterday, and like I said before, as long as I follow this schedule, everything will work out just fine. So let me get all of like my baking things set up in this general area, and then we'll get started on the cheesecake. This is the recipe that I'm going to be following for the pumpkin cheesecakes. I will have it linked in the description below, but I have everything that I need and I'm going to get started on the crust. Now, originally this was supposed to be a ginger snap crust, right? But unfortunately, I couldn't find not Nam ginger snap anywhere. So I am going to like fake it till I make it, and I'm going to use some regular graham crackers, and I'm gonna add in ground ginger and clove to see if I can get it a little bit closer to like a spicier crust. I also will be adding a little bit of cinnamon if I feel like it needs it, and also might throw a pinch of allspice in there as well. There would be absolutely nothing wrong with doing a regular graham cracker crust, but to be for real, I just wanted to taste a little bit different, so that's what I'm gonna do. That is delightful. Next part is to make the pumpkin pie filling, which is the cream cheese, pumpkin puree, a large egg plus of yolk, sugar, cinnamon, pumpkin pie spice, and vanilla extract. So I've probably mentioned this already, but in case I have not, one thing that I find valuable with cooking in general, but especially when cooking bigger meals, is to start the day with a sink full of hot soapy water and an empty dishwasher, because it just allows the cleanup to be so incredibly fast. You're not wondering whether or not you have room for anything in the dishwasher, and you can kind of wash as you go. And that saved me yesterday, because by the time I got done up in here, the last thing I wanted to do was wash dishes. And guess what? I didn't have to. All I had to do was run a dishwasher. So if you don't take anything else away from this video, it's start with a sink of hot soapy water and empty your dishwasher before you do anything else. So while that cheesecake is in the oven, I'm just going to take the opportunity to just bust down a couple of dishes. Oh, I also pulled the chicken out because it's gonna go into the oven after the cheesecake is done. All I need to do is crank up the temperature and it'll be ready to run. Hiya! Okay. And that was about 15 minutes. Recipe says 18, but these look pretty good at 15. So I'm gonna pull them. I nicked this one, my bad. I think it'll be fine once the caramel sauce is added though. Slight change of plans here. I think it's in my best interest to try and make this caramel first, because I feel like the last time I made caramel, I had to make it twice because I burnt the first batch. So let's just get this one out of the way real quick. I will link this recipe down below too. It's the homemade salted caramel recipe from Sally's Baking Addiction. I just need to stir this one apparently, and eventually it's going to melt, and she says to be careful not to burn it. Yeah girl, I'm gonna do my best. So I'll see y'all back when it finally starts melting. Okay, I don't know if you can see it, but the sugar is starting to melt because it's turning colors. And now that I'm recalling my caramel sauce making, I think I prefer a wet caramel versus dry caramel because sugar dissolves in water so much easier to me. I just feel like it's easier to make that way. And this is a dry one. There was no water added at the beginning. So if this flops, I'm just gonna do a wet caramel because it's easier to me. Yet another reason I don't enjoy making dry caramel is because you end up with these like craters of sugar that has not dissolved, and you kind of have to hack at it in order to make sure all the sugar melts. All right, out of fear of burning the caramel sauce, I'm gonna stop here and add in my butter. This is 4, and I need 2 more. All right, this is what we're looking like for now. Did I just break my whisk? Bruh, I know you lying. Can I fix that? Chow. Cooking always comes at a cost, man. I done broke my daggone whisk. Chow. All right, I think I'm at the point where I can add in my heavy cream that I've got pre-measured over here. It's a 1/2 cup. Right, it looks like it's boiling, so I'm gonna do 1 minute. And I need to remove this from the heat. I'm just gonna put it right here. And then it says to stir in the salt. Recipe calls for a full teaspoon of salt, but it feels like a lot to me, so I'm gonna do a 1/2 teaspoon. And technically, that is it. This is caramel sauce. But because I'm paranoid about it like not being clump free, I'm just gonna pass it through a sieve. You know what? I can use this jar, that's why I pulled it out. I'm just gonna pass it through a sieve because I wanna make sure that all the clumps are gone before I try to use this on somebody's dessert. I don't see any clumps in here. Okay, girl. Well, that's because they're all around the rim of the pot. It's fine. Right. We've got caramel sauce. I'm just gonna let this cool, and it's gonna thicken as it cools anyway, and then we'll use this later. Another alarm just went off, which means it's time for me to pull out the collard greens. Not me almost dropping this pot though. And put them on the stove and let them start marinating and doing their thing. It's smelling good though. I need to remind myself to add some vinegar to that at some point. I also want you to know my phone started overheating, so it's currently in the freezer. I'm trying to bring the temperature down because I guess I got a little bit too close to that caramel sauce. So I just pulled out the backup phone, and that is what we are recording on now. So I am going to take this opportunity to do another little reset and get some of these dishes washed. Also soak this because I definitely did not put water in it right away. And then we'll make the streusel topping for the, what is that? I keep forgetting because I don't make this very often. Sweet potato casserole. Yeah, nothing else is supposed to happen until 2:30. So I've got about an hour. All right, reset. All right. We only have 2 more things to make. And the first, we are just gonna go ahead and knock out this streusel. I have everything in this bowl. It is brown sugar, flour, cinnamon, salt, and that's it. I need to add in some pecans, marshmallows, and unsalted butter. I have some pecans here. Listen, y'all just gonna have to ignore me being ashy. I have been washing dishes and washing my hands nonstop, so it is what it is. These are some pecans that I pulled out of the freezer. I am unsure if they taste like freezer, and I also don't like to eat raw pecans, so I'm not really sure how I'm supposed to test this theory. I mean, they don't smell like freezer at all, but they've been in there for quite a while. Let me take a drink of water because I really do not like raw pecans, man. And I also just had a little bowl of Captain Crunch, so. Oh. They are tasting a little bit like freezer, so we won't be using those. And instead, we are going to use walnuts for the topping of this casserole. I actually need a cup of walnuts because I need some for the streusel and for the cheesecakes, and I'm just about to put them in the air fryer and let them get toasty, probably for 2 minutes tops, because when you burn nuts, bruh, it's so gross. It's nasty. So for the streusel, I'm going to take my mixture and then add in this butter. Oop, you know what I should have did? Hold up, wait a minute. I can see this being a disaster. Even though the website does not say, I'ma do it anyways. And then you just mix all this together. And that's it. So what I'm gonna do is put this in another container, because what ends up happening is it's marshmallows first, then this, more marshmallows, and then this again. And the casserole still has a little while before it's due to go in the oven. So it'll just chill out in here. That's a timer for something else. Hold, please, let me check my bird. Let's bust down this jus real quick. And before anybody comes for me, I'm telling you right now, I don't have any white wine, so we are just gonna be using chicken stock for the entirety of this recipe. And I am following a recipe from Kenji Lopez Alt. It is in his book called The Food Lab. And I'm just gonna try this to see if it's good. If it's not, I mean, I can definitely make basic gravy with the drippings from the chicken once it comes out the oven. So no love lost there. Yeah, okay, never mind. I'm about to tempt the bird again because it's within a couple of degrees of what I need it to be at. And I don't want it to go over. All right, I believe my bird is done. Listen, y'all cannot tell me that this bird ain't birding. Look at her. That bird is out here looking right. So now that I've taken the bird out, I actually forgot to take out the mac and cheese. So I'm gonna do that and let that rest on the counter for maybe like 15 minutes so that I'm not putting like super cold glass in a hot oven. And I'm also gonna take out this casserole too. All right, back to the jus. First thing in is going to be the little chicken pieces, and I don't have a cleaver, so I'm just gonna have to wing this by putting them in here whole. And actually, while that's going, I'm gonna go ahead and put my mac and cheese in the oven because she's ready. Because I'm quite simply just done getting topped with grease, I'm gonna move on to the next step, and I feel like it's okay because the chicken stock that I'm gonna use, it's technically like roasted chicken stock, so that roasty toasty flavor is gonna be in there regardless. So I need to add in my herbs. This is dried rosemary and thyme. And then also add in my vegetables. So I've got onion, carrot, and celery over here. And I'm using tongs because this is the same board that I used to cut up that chicken. And I'm trying to save my hands here, okay? They are dry and crispy. From here, I need to like brown everything in this pot. So I'm gonna move my vegetables towards the bottom. I really should have used a bigger pot, but yeah, I didn't. Just gonna give these an opportunity to get a little roasty toasty. I just want to know if you eat sweet potato casserole, like, I'm gonna be clear here, I am not making this for me because I prefer my sweet potatoes in pie form. But if you eat sweet potato casserole, can you like provide me a short answer of like why? I don't understand. I don't understand this at all. And I hope, well, it's definitely getting washed out, but I'll show you what it looks like in a sec. And now that I'm doing this, I actually think I was supposed to put the casserole in naked first and then top it. So what I'm gonna do to prevent this from browning is I'm going to cover it, like basically tent it with foil and let it get hot first. But that's what we're looking like before we go into the oven. Time to add in the bay leaf and my chicken stock. Now, after scraping all the good stuff from the bottom, this needs to simmer for about 20 minutes. So I'm just gonna let this thing ride and clean up some of this grease because ew. Not me refusing to use a larger strainer. Ugh. Now this needs to reduce to about 1/3 of a cup. I gotta stop the dishwasher because it's loud. We are done, okay? With the exception of the dessert, I need to put the caramel on top and do the, I want to call them pecans, but they're not, the roasted chopped walnuts. It's 4:41 right now, and I feel like I finished maybe about 10 minutes ago and then went into autopilot because I saw I had some dishes in the sink, so I washed the majority of them. And then there's like a small handful, like a pot and a, oh my gosh, my brain, a pot and a whisk in there, and possibly a spoon that still needs to be taken care of. But before we get into what all we have made, I'm gonna go take a shower because I feel like I smell like kitchen, and I want to smell like something else. So let me go take care of that, and then when we come back, we will go through everything that we made. A rundown of everything that I have made, okay? First up, we have sweet potato casserole. Now, I have had this. It's not that I don't like it. It's that I just prefer my sweet potatoes in pie form versus this. I mean, this is like sweet potato pie essence to me, but it looks good, and the marshmallow lovers are going to thoroughly enjoy macaroni and the cheese. Now, I have played with this recipe several times over the years, and nothing beats sharp and medium cheddar, okay? I've tried Gruyere, I tried to get a little fancy with Parmesan, and it just does not hit like medium and sharp cheddar. This is the hen. I mean, I don't know what side looks better, but like, this is our little bird friend here. Now, if it actually eats like turkey has yet to be determined because it has not been cut yet, but the man at the butcher said that because it's a hen, it would eat more like turkey than chicken, so we shall see. Next thing we've got are collards, and I'm about to bring these collards over there, but I need to change the camera first because I don't want them falling on me, okay? we have collards, an entire pot of collards, which makes my soul so happy. I'm gonna freeze a good portion of this in some super cubes so I can have some intermittently as we go through the holiday season and get up to New Year's. It is going to be amazing to have collards on demand. Next thing we made, we have our little au jus here. Now, I did have to make some adjustments to this. It was a little too salty, so I ended up adding some honey and a little bit of heavy whipping cream. Next up, we have the pumpkin cheesecake minis. This looks so good. Now, I will take the wrappers off, but first of all, they need to go into the refrigerator for a while. And I had my Tupperware sitting in the freezer so I can do just that, so the caramel can set up. I did leave 4 in the refrigerator because I'm gonna freeze those 4, and I'm gonna freeze them without any toppings on it so that I can enjoy them at a later date and time. Now, what did I not cook that I usually cook? I did not make any kind of roll. Last year I made Parker House rolls, and I would have made them this year, aside from the fact that it seemed like I was doing a lot for us to be leaving so soon afterwards. So this year's roll is brought to you by none other than King's Hawaiian. And nobody's gonna complain about these because King's Hawaiian rolls hit every single time. What else? I also skipped over making dressing this year because, again, it just seemed like a lot of work for us to not be around to enjoy leftovers after several days. Now, will I make some dressing before the holiday season is done? Absolutely, because I love dressing, okay? But it's just not gonna be for this Thanksgiving. I really don't think there was anything else that I forewent outside of like a super fancy dessert, because I tend to go like all out for dessert on Thanksgiving. But I feel like this is a really good substitute. Like, I'm not complaining about the fact that I have cheesecake. The size of this does not matter to me because I can eat 2, okay? And if I want another one, I can have a third. So that's not really bothering me, but would I have wanted to like go all out and make something like a German chocolate cake? Yeah, probably, but again, I'm not crying about that. The kitchen looks immaculate, okay? I don't have a single dish left to wash. Like, I was on my wash as you go game this year. Like, I'm gonna pat myself on the back because usually it looks like a thunderstorm up in here by the time Thanksgiving is over. Yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up. Ain't nothing left to do but to like make some plates, you know what I mean? So thank y'all so very much for watching this Thanksgiving cook with me. I hope y'all enjoyed the vlog, and I will catch y'all in the next one.